So, the fifth session of meeting.
Nepal. And the improvement that I'm seeing in the different people, the topics that are coming up in the subsequent speeches are actually developing. So I hope by the time we get to our 10th projects, we'll be mature enough to give really hard hitting topics, right? So that's kind of coming along. Let me start by telling you that the different roles that everybody is holding today. Pradeep Kumar is going to be the extempore host. General evaluator role will be played by Sandeep Dhiman. The silent evaluator, that's everybody who's evaluating everybody else, is going to be Gopal for today. Vikrant has been is not available, so Abhijit Bhai will be taking the role of the grammatist. The snafu counter will be Vedpal for today's meeting. Timekeeper's role will be essayed by the great Gagandeep. Vote counter will be Mahendra Gotwal. This will be an online, we are starting a new initiative where we have an online vote counting. We'll be starting with our first evaluator for the day, but let me just start off by saying that the themes for different speeches today is kind of like in a logical order. So the first, it makes sense that the first speech today will be about childhood, right? And children are innocent, as you all know. They're like innocent and sweet. They do stuff which makes sense only to them. I remember I was at this shop a few days ago, and this child just came in running and told the shopkeeper that I want to buy 10 kg of sugar at 1.25 rupees a kg, 4 kgs of coffee at 1.5 rupees a kilo, 2 kilos of butter at 1.1 rupees a kilo, and 2 bars of soap at 83 rupees, 83 paisa each. And the shopkeeper was like, okay, so what else do you want? He said, just tell me the total, how much do I have to pay you? He said 20 rupees and 36 paisa. And the kid started to run off, and the shopkeeper was like, hey, don't you want your stuff? He said, no, I just wanted to help let you help me solve a maths problem. So this is something that kids do. So the first orator for today is Deepak Negi, who will be talking about his childhood experience. The one thing I'm not sure everybody knows this about Deepak is he's a tourer, a biker. His last trip was to Leh, right? He had enormous fun there. So I hope that he shares some of that experience with us. And his first project is an icebreaker project, where the purpose of that project is just to convey his life's ideas of what he has lived through till now, so that everybody knows who Deepak Negi is. So I'd like to call upon the dais Deepak Negi. Deepak. So, thank you, Deepak. Deepak will be evaluated by Ashish Negi. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good morning. I will be taking 4.5 minutes for my speech. Today I want to share with you a day from my childhood. So hi everyone, I am Deepak Negi. I have been working for Oceaning from last 5 years. I born and grew up in Panchkula, near Mansa Devi. I am an introvert person from the very beginning. Today I will share one of my life experience when I was 7 years old. So I belong to a middle class family, and I used to live with my father alone in Panchkula. My father is employed in Haryana Electricity Board, and my mother used to live in village because she has to look after the farms and cattle. So it was the summer time, and she had come to us for a few days to live with us. I used to remain annoyed with my parents because they often used to beat me up. So every time I cried, I thought of leaving my home and stay alone, self-dependent. So, but I also was very smart boy, so I know that I can't live alone because I was still a 7 years old child, and I had even not passed my first grade. And but I had no other choice because my mind was filled with full negativity due to hating. So I started doing some market surveys. I started looking for kids who used to work alone and lived alone. So what I did, like I used to follow the kids like the tea boy, the boy who served milk to my home, and the ice cream vendor boy. So I started my analysis of these traits, and finally I made up my mind that I will earn by living selling tea. So after a few days the judgment day arrived. My father had beaten me up with very hard stick. So I made up my mind that today I will leave my home and stay alone. So what I did, like I left my home by 10 a.m. I went to Mansadevi temple to have lunch. I took my lunch, and what I did, because I was very fond of sweets, so I went to some donation boxes and eaten some laddus from there. Uh, because of eating so much laddus, I fell asleep. So when I fell asleep, it was around evening when I heard a familiar voice of. So I woke up and I saw who that person was. So I saw it was Rajni Didi. She had come. She somehow found me, and she started interrogating me like what I was doing here and how I ended up here. So I told her about my story, like how my parents forced me to leave my home and how I ended up here, and I also shared my future plans with her. So she heard everything calmly, that it was not a big deal. She said to me like my parents had send her to me and they are very sorry for what they have done, and they want me back, and to cheer me up they have made jalebis for me. So when I heard the word jalebi, the Dhara refined ad, you must have seen that moment, ran through my eyes, like the child ran away from the home and the parents make jalebi for him, and it's a happy ending. So I said, okay, I will go with you. So we started our journey back to my home. I was very excited and felt well thrilled. Like I was very happy that okay, my parents have finally agreed that they have made a mistake, and they have made sweets for me. So it was very nice. So although when I reached home, I was beaten up again, and this time was a bigger stick, and I had to sleep crying, cursing Rajni Didi and that ad. And I thought like parents can't change, they are always like this. So my reason for sharing with you with this story is like, please don't beat up the kids, because kids have their life is only their parents. They don't know outside their parents and their friends what the life is all about. So please don't beat up. They are irritating sometimes, but try to cope up with them and try to make false promises with them, but don't beat them up. So thank you very much for listening. Show patiently. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak. I wish you could have been a chai wala. Maybe we could have another president, right? Prime Minister. Well, I must say that Deepak's idea was very interesting, and I now understand a line I read somewhere. Wrinkles are inherited. Parents get them from their kids. So his parents must be getting lots of wrinkles. He's running away and trying to become a tea wala. Okay, so the next logical step in our speeches should be, when once the child has grown up, he wants to search out his life, become a seeker in the sense. So our next orator, Aryant, will be talking about how to seek things in life, right? It's kind of like traveling on a road less traveled, you know. And these days you have to be very, worried about when you're traveling, because as I read somewhere that a pedestrian who's walking fast, somebody who's stuck in traffic, right? So traffic is a big point now. Aryant will be joining us soon and talking about the life of a seeker. But remember, Aryant, somebody who walks a lot on a road less travels might end up being lost. So Aryant, please join us on the dais and share your experience. Aryant will be evaluated by Sandeep Nagpal.
It's easier standing for an extempore actually. So it's my third time over the dais, and it's only on the third time I'm breaking ice with you. So myself Aryan Sharma, and I'm working in oceaneering as a design engineer. The speech will be for 4 minutes, approximately 4 minutes. The topic is my life as a seeker. So as I said, as Ashwani mentioned, it's the fifth session. So after having listened to so many wonderful and interesting speeches where you have shared interesting aspects of your life, some inspirational, some significant incidents of your life, I was wondering what I was going to speak about. I mean, I was not able to zero down upon a particular topic. So what I thought was that, okay, I'll speak about an aspect of my life which I believe it defines me, which tells something about me. So I'll begin the story of mine in a way in which most of the interesting stories I read in my childhood began. So not a very long time ago, in a land not too far away from here, was born a boy who was named Arihant by his grandfather. And born in a close-knit family, he was surrounded by uncles, aunts, cousins, and everybody to take care of him. So all these people, I mean, he always had someone around him to answer his never-ending silly questions, to paint a beautiful picture of this colorful world on the canvas of his mind. And I think that is where the seed of inquisitiveness, the topic of my speech, the seed of knowing something more, was sown into his mind. So ending this Mahabharat-like monologue, I'll be shifting gear to the first person speech now. So if you were to ask my teachers, my school teachers, that what kind of student Arihant was or I was, so you will get a variety of answers. Some would say that he was very talkative. Some would say that if you ask the right people, they would say that he was intelligent. But one thing they all would say was that he was a very keen student. A person who was very keen to know how things work, why they work the way they do, and all those things. And I think it was this keenness only which drove me towards becoming a mechanical engineer. I mean, right from my childhood, I had this image of a mechanical engineer in my mind, that he or she, or should I say 99% times he, would be a person who designs new things, then dismantles things which don't work, figures out why they're not working, and then make them work again. So that was the image I had of a mechanical engineer in my mind, and I mean, it has been a pretty good journey till now, and maybe not as action-packed as I believed, but still it has been, so mechanical engineering is one of the things which this inquisitive mind has gifted to me. But apart from that also, if I see my life from a larger perspective, I realize that there is so much I have gained in life because of being inquisitive. If I see all the new people I have met in my life, whom I have talked to, be it a train journey from here Chandigarh to my home in Delhi, or the 4 years of college life, every person I've met in my life is because of having that inquisitiveness, that okay, I want to know more. And every person I've met in life has, added something to the story of my life. Might be a single paragraph, might be a complete chapter. But some people I met, they, some of the relationships blossomed into lifelong friendships, whereas some ended in bitter breaks. But then each person added a flavor to my life. And it's not just restricted to people. This inquisitiveness drove me to seek new things, new interests in life. If I take an example, I mean, I have been in a on and off relationship with my guitar for the last few years, and I hope it works out this time. So that is one of the things I took up because I was interested in that. And then moving to a new city, coming out of the comfort of my home, coming to this new city, it has flared up a new interest of traveling in my life. I wish to explore new places. I mean, I'm sure this world has many more surprises to offer to me. So summing this up, I would say that this world, this life offers us many wonders, many chances to explore new things. It depends upon us that how much we are willing to explore and how much we are willing to live in each moment. And as the famous playwright William Shakespeare said that all the world's a stage and all men and women merely players. I hope that by the end we all are able to play our roles to perfection, so that before the director up there says cut, we are satisfied in our lives. So I hope that with this speech I've added some colors to your life as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Aryant. That was an interesting take on, seeking, as I said. I wish you were the Harry Potter seeker, maybe you could have found a coffin. So, moving on, I'll share a few laughs with you, just to break the monotony of the heavy stuff everybody is talking about, kids being beaten up, seeking life and everything. So, I'll tell you that, there are two kids. Each of them are very worried about, discussing, what should I do? I don't know what to do. My life is becoming dangerous. So the other kid asked him, why are you worried? What could really affect you? He's like, my dad works 12 hours a day, right? He's never home, but he provides a nice home for me and whatever I want, good food. My mom is always cleaning the house every day, cooking new food. It's so, but I'm very scared. I said, but why are you worried? Your dad works, provides whatever you want. Your mom's cooking all the time. I said, yes, but I'm afraid, what if they run away? So, kids can worry about anything. And as I said, a seeker might worry about, what to look for next. So, I'll just share this thing about Aryant on seeking things new and, what to find next. He's also a poet. So next, when we have a poetry session in our club, we will definitely having Aryant do a prose. Okay, so moving on to our next orator, Sangram. Now Sangram is going to talk about outside the box. Outside the box is so outside the box that sometimes it's inside the box. So we have to be worried, we have to think how does he actually portray that. Before he comes on the dais and actually tells us about his life experience about outside the box, I want to share something with you. Now this is a small question, I hope everybody can answer. So there's this guy who rides to a motel on a Friday, stays 2 nights and 3 days, and then leaves on a Friday. Did everybody understand me? Right? He rides on Friday, gets to a motel, stays there for 2 nights and 3 days, and then leaves on a Friday. Now, how is that possible?
Maybe the journey is long. Friday is the night house.
Aryan, thank you. I'm sure you looked at my notes before. But yeah, Friday was the name of the horse. So that is outside the box, right? So I hope Sangram can live up to our outside the box. He'll be evaluated by Chirag Jaiswal. And the interesting thing about Sangram is he's also a biker. His first biking trip was also a father-son bonding trip from Pune to Bangalore. Thank you, Sangram.
Hello everyone, this is my first speech, icebreaker, and I'll take 6 minutes. Okay, thinking outside the box is a metaphor that means to think differently, unconventionally, or from a new perspective. But I always wonder why poor box is targeted in this metaphor. I mean, like we can say thinking outside the pyramid, thinking outside the cylinder, or thinking outside the paragram maybe. Having said that, I guess I already started thinking outside the box. Well, my name is Sangram Shivajirao Bhosle. I am from Maharashtra. I have been working in the oceaneering since August 2014. I joined here as a fresher. Today, I am going to share a highly enlightening incident I experienced when I was pursuing my engineering degree. That time, we used to have our lectures in a 10-day college campus. In our Chori college building, ground floor was fully furnished and first floor was in the finishing stage. It was going through coloring, cleaning, etc. We were attending lecture of our beloved HOD, head of the department. He was teaching us a few fundamentals about drawing, and I was enjoying that lecture as a backbencher. In the middle of the lecture, Manoj, a friend of mine who was absent for that lecture, he texted me saying that he was on the 1st floor with the tiffin. He actually brought tiffin box from his home. So I was a hosteler, and as you know, homemade food is just precious for each and every student living in the hostel. So that message really made me excited and restless. So as a result, I along with my few friends decided to get out of the class. And as soon as our HOD turned his back towards us, we moved out of the class and headed towards the first floor. We literally attacked on the tiffin box as if we had been hungry since a decade. On the other side, after our exit, class became noisy. HOD initially ignored that, but after a while, he realized our mischief. So he walked out of the class in agitation and trying to find out the prison breakers. Meanwhile, we finished the tiffin box and we got busy in telling Manoj about our courageous prison break. And I was like Michael Scofield of the story. And unfortunately, our HOD heard our giggling from the ground floor and he called our names. He called our names blindly. He couldn't see us. So he missed one of the culprits, Tushar. So Tushar remained there and we were summoned to the HOD office. Now while going towards HOD office, we saw our honorable principal taking upward the stairs to the first floor. Now we were jealous about Tushar that he remained there and we were summoned to the HOD office. Now our principal was a very strict person. If he finds anyone bunking the lecture, he not only roars at him but calls his parents. So our jealousy about Tushar suddenly got converted into pity. Consequently, we reached the HOD office, listened a few things, got a number of assignments as a punishment, and we were released. After that, we rushed towards the first floor to see if any of Tushar managed to hide there. But no one was there apart from painters and cleaners. So we started walking towards the cafeteria, imagining Tushar being grilled in front of his parents. But our imagination couldn't survive longer. We were startled to see Tushar eating his misal pav calmly in the cafeteria. And my mind was totally occupied by a single question. How did he manage to do that? And this is what he told us. After momentary happiness of not being caught by HOD, he saw principal coming upstairs. He got stuck in between deep blue sea and a devil. He realized that there is no way he could get away from the situation. So what he did, he just folded his jeans to the knees, removed his shirt and started cleaning the class. Principal came, saw him, greeted him and went away. That was a genius incident, right? I mean, thinking outside the box always helps. In your personal as well as in your professional life, no matter in how much difficult situation you are, always remember there will be way out. Thank you.
Thank you, Sangram. I think you've added a new dimension to thinking outside the box. Instead of saying thinking out the pyramid, we'll say thinking outside the tetrahedron. That was an amazing story. Something we can all use someday. Before I call the next orator, Gopal, I want to share a few things with you. His topic, keep calm and smile, has multiple facets. I hope everybody knows that in the time of World War II, this line, keep calm and smile, was the logo for the UK civil defense. So they had these posters all over the UK to tell people that you have to keep calm and smile no matter how many bombers are there. Keep calm and smile. So over the years, keep calm and smile has evolved into jokes and posters and everything. And the take that Gopal took for this statement and using it as a new way to actually help us keep calm and smile, I was really impressed by that. That brings the kind of speeches we want in the club, like Aryan about the seeker. There's something we really want, something you can think about. The dimensions added to the thinking outside that are completely out there. So that is also one of them. Before I hand the mic dais over to Gopal, I'd just like to share that Gopal is an avid blogger. So he does not just share his speeches with us, he shares them with the world on his blog. And I hope now Gopal can join us and tell us about how he plans for us to keep calm and smile. Ashish Bhai will be evaluating Gopal.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Well, I didn't knew it that keep calm and smile is something related to history. Actually, on Monday, Paramjit called me and said that you have to deliver your speech on in this meeting. I said, why? Means it's not scheduled. He said, no, you have to deliver it. So at that time, I was very means a bit of angry. One feeling of anger was there. So I thought I should keep calm, and smile all the time. So smile also was there. So that's how I made my topic: keep calm and smile. So very good afternoon again to all of you. I'm working here as a design engineer since June 2013. In one of the first meetings of this Doyen club, the demo meeting. In that demo meeting, I prepared a speech on Murphy's law. Which that speech was ultimately delivered by Pradeep. Yeah, there he is. In that speech, I talked about a person named John Jandai, who is a farmer from Thailand. Actually, he was working as a professional somewhere in the world. He was from Thailand, by the way, and he was getting a very good salary. But then after some time, he thought that this is not something which I can do throughout my life. So then he thought of going back home and doing something which interests him. So he went back home and started working as a full-time farmer. He started working as a farmer. He used to. By the way, my time is 5 minutes. Okay. So he started cultivating rice, and he used to cultivate rice and earn livelihood. So then he came to attend a TED talk where he talked about life is easy. His topic was life is easy. Why do we make it so hard? Means we all our life we spend earning money and doing things, and at the end of the day you find a person who is enjoying his life and earning handsome salary. And I would like to tell you that this person, John Jandai, what he is doing right now, apart from being a farmer, he has founded a company called Pun Pun. That company works for the exploration of self-reliant and sustainable development methods and organic farming. So he is literally an entrepreneur, isn't it? Okay, let me tell you an interesting story now. My mama called me last week, and she talked about the wheat we purchased last week. She said that we purchased wheat last week, 2 tons of wheat. I asked her the cost. She told that it costed rupees 6,000, means 3,000 rupees per ton. I asked her, means how on earth can it cost so much? She said no, it costed this much. And then she started telling me the qualities of that wheat. She said that this wheat is clean as a whistle, means there's no some segregate means some impurities there, and grains are very thick, and it's of import quality wheat, and it came all the way from Madhya Pradesh, and this is a product of organic farming. So at that time I started thinking, means how can these small qualities can affect the price this much? Means I would like to tell you for information that last year the wheat we purchased was rupees 1,500 per ton, and this year we paid 3,000, means double the amount of we paid last year. Sorry. So then I thought about it, and I started comparing all this with Apple's marketing strategy. What Apple do? Apple just focus on quality, means their product, they want as much quality as they incorporate into their product, they do it, and the customer of theirs are ready to pay for it. They ask for a very heavy amount for their products, and customers are ready to pay it. Why? Because they are getting the quality. So from all this I learned a very important lesson, that it's the quality that matters, not the money. It's the quality that matters, not the money. I would like you all to speak with me. It's the quality that matters, not the money. And now I would request you to relate this with your lives. It's the quality of life that matters, not the money in the life. So let's talk a bit about life now. Aryan started it, and I'm gonna finish it. And there are parameters, on the basis of which we compare our lives with others. What are these parameters? A high-paying job, someone else is earning more than us. An extra bedroom flat, someone is having extra room in their home. A luxury car, a branded clothes, an expensive phone, and what else? There are more than many things which we compare, and all these are, by the way, literally money. What we are comparing is money. What we should be comparing? We should be comparing happiness. Now you're gonna ask me, how come we compare happiness? To this I will ask you, why do we compare at all? Why do we need to compare? If you are happy, just keep calm and smile. Means, if you're happy, that's the best thing that can happen to you in your life. You know, and there's a person called Napoleon Bonaparte who said that if you want something done well, do it yourself. Means literally he's talking about finding your interest. As John Jandai found his interest, means we all are having some kind of interest. Many people are having interest in the work which we are doing. So that can be a potential interest for us. So the second thing which comes is satisfaction. I was having a conversation with Vikas Karolia some time back, and we were discussing whether we should be satisfied in our life or not. At that time, we just had conversation. I said this, he said that. After the conversation, I came to know, means I realized that it's like choosing between marriage and suicide. Getting satisfied and not getting satisfied, isn't it? I mean, satisfaction is important, but hunger to do better should never die. Because if it dies, then life ends. So at last, I would say, following your interest is the key to happiness. And if you make sure that you do it in a way that the generations to come set it as a benchmark for them, that's the success. And then do what you like doing and live how you like living. Thank you.
Thank you, Gopal. I think after this speech, the club meeting has come to a full circle. Childhood, seeking, thinking outside the box, and then how to live life. I just like to tell you a few things that I experienced in the last week. As some of you know that I was in a Yogram Naturopathy Institute for a week last week. Kind of like a rejuvenation thing for me. So there I learned their first principle of living life was smiling. So at 7 o'clock in the morning, we were given this really, really pathetic kadha to drink. And when we used to drink it, the doctor used to tell us, you have to smile while you drink it. That is how it will affect, that is how it will help you. So I agree with Gopal that, we should smile, we should stay calm. And we should only compare with others if you want to check if they have enough. We should never compare with others to see if we have more than them. That is a thing we should follow in our life. And now we all are, completely calm and we are smiling. Before I bring on the next section of the meeting, I tell you there's only one advice I can give you. Freak out and panic. Because Pradeep is going to present the theme extempore session now.
Thank you, Ashwini. It's a tough job actually. Every time come up with different topics and keeping you people engaged. Well, any volunteer this time, or should I do the same thing again?
Conscriptions are later, right?
Okay, I got 2. No more? Okay. So this time you people will be given a situation, and based on the situation you have to get a title and decide a title and give us some short story explaining your choice within 2 minutes, right? So the first volunteer I would like to call Mahinder. Please come. This is what your question is, situation in fact. One day you realize that every person you know has forgotten you. So what will be your course of action then? 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. If everyone forgotten me, and what I will do, then I will write down their names who will forget to me, and I went there and explain everyone that what times we spent together, and find out that how we can memorize their brain, or how can we can memorize their past experience like this. And I will share with some good experience with them, and also I will show some videos if I will, videos and photos that oh, you are my friend and you are friend whatever, friends or maybe parents, anyone, relative, anyone, I will show them, so he will memorize or she will memorize my name, who am I, and like this. And I think if everyone forgotten me, that's a, I think, plus point for me. If I borrow some money from someone, that I will not do that thing. And if everyone forgotten me, that's very good, because I can change my country, change my address, change anything in my life. I can start my life. That's a positive things in my life. I can start my life again from zero to. That's a very, very good for my, as per my opinion. Thank you. That's really good. If everyone forgotten me, that's really good for me, because I can start my life from zero onwards, and I can erase my past, whatever that I did wrong in my life. So that's really good. Thank you so much.
What we notice is that you don't want to have your wife remember you.
Thank you, it was a great effort. Next. A good volunteer actually, come. Paramjit.
You woke up in the morning and realized that demon was sitting in front of you. Give you a choice if you wish to be an animal.
So you woke up one fine morning and realized the demon was standing in front of you. Do you have one choice to be an animal only? Which would you like?
Okay. First of all, good afternoon to each and every one of you. And well, I was very excited from the last 5 or 6 sessions that one day I will get a chance to speak upon one of the topic. And today, finally, I have that moment. And
Now you're speechless.
yeah, not speechless. Actually, I'm out of words. What to say and where to start. Most probably,
Think out of the box.
think out of the box. Yeah, thank you.
Become a politician.
Okay.
We don't want social elements. We want actual elements.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, if on the morning day, if I have seen a demon, as in today's modern world, we have so many hectic and tough schedules. I have to wake up early morning and come ready for a job and all those stuff. So first of all, I will say him, thank you for relieving me from my sufferings of my everyday life. And the other thing is, thank you for giving me an option so that I can be one thing that I really love to be. And the next thing is, if regarding the animal, what animal? That's a tricky one. But it's been much more easier if it has been a bird, but okay. Let's try for animal also. Yeah, let's try to be a dog. Because I feel like that, but I am honest. Honest with all the most of my relatives, and dog is one of the animal who is very honest to the owner, and he is very faithful. And other thing is, the people love to stay around a dog, and in a way I would be stay near to my loved one, to my relatives. So I love to be not on the negative side, but yeah, due to the seeking on the positive aspects of an animal, dog, which I definitely say that most people, when we are talking about a dog, it's talking about a negative thing, or we are talking it about in an abusive way. But if one should consider as for the dog, it's when the dog and the human has a relations from the past, many generations, from many millenniums. And they are living happily with each other, and I think only the dog is the only animal who is truly honest with with his owner, and he after that death, till his death, he will still live and protect his owner. So that's all. Thank you for that opportunity.
But I had a tiger in my mind. It's your choice. Thank you, but it was a great effort. Right. No volunteers? Yes, good chef. Rajkumar, please. So you are an insurance agent and you have to convince at least one person to buy an insurance policy in the next 2 minutes in order to save your job. Easy? Please.
Hi, good afternoon to all of you. Okay, the Ashish Tandel has given his speech in the last Doyen's Club meeting that the traffic rules are people generally do not follow traffic rules. So if we don't know how our life can end. We are traveling to our home from our job and we met an accident. So it is necessary to have an insurance because nobody knows when an accident can happen, or you can have a serious health problem like kidney problem one day, and you do not have that much money. So the insurance policy will cover all your health problem or accidental damage, or that will cover for your future generation. Means your child will have some money for your when you are not there. So they will money will help in growing their career and their life. So without you, their life is very much harder. But with that money, it can be less harder. So, thank you.
Wait, you didn't answer actually. The person actually took your policy or not? I don't know. Alright. Any more volunteer? Or you want to? So, Deepak Negi. So, this is your question. So, you have become the president of the federation of your favorite sport and are given a choice to change any rules of the game as per your liking for one day. What will be the game look like? Please.
Okay, so first of all, my favorite game is cricket. So as I am the president of Cricket Federation of India, so I will like to change some rules of cricket. Firstly, I will like to say, like, in cricket there are 11 players, but only at a time of one team only 2 players are playing. Why 8 players are sitting idle? I don't want idle time, because we want money, we play for money. So what I want to do is, like, I want the batting team also to have 11 players batting. So for that we need extra 5 pitches more. So what I will do is, like, I will suggest my ground curators to make size of the grounds bigger and more running space for our batsmen, and for that we also need 5 more umpires also. And because we have 5 different players, so we will ban the public coming to the stadium, and we will telecast it on the channels only, because as a spectator you can't watch five different pitches match on 5 different pitches. So we will watch matches on the television only. So we will ban everybody from coming to stadium. So the extra space we save from that sitting space, we will convert it into a playing space. So we are talking with the channels how we can do it, and they agreed that they will make the single screen of their monitor to 5 different screens of the channel. So if when they will be do, we will start our work. Also, because there are just too many batsmen playing, so I want that we need more batting coaches also. And because there are 5 balls, so actually that will also make us to hire more fielders. So that will that will put additional pressure on the fielders. But as we know, the cricket is a game for batsmen, so I can't help that. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak. On that note, actually, we are finished with the extempore speech session. Thanks for your participation.
Thanks, Pradeep, for that engaging, the themes and questions. I'd like to add a few points which I noticed. That I am seeing that Deepak wants a lot of work for the fielders, so we might have to increase a few fielders there. It'll be quite interesting. We could actually do this. 10 fielders running for 5 balls at a time, and they don't know which to throw where, so they can just throw it randomly anywhere. That would be a good game to watch. Also, while we were talking about the insurances, some parts of the world have specific and very specialized insurances. Like Dick Valhalen, he's a guitarist, and he has insured his chest hair. He feels that actually adds to his value, so he has insured his chest hair. So you can actually insure anything, and you can sell insurance to anybody for whatever you want, right? We can actually insure Pradeep for the themes he has, so that it doesn't lose that touch, right? So it was a very interesting session. Now I'd like to call upon the evaluators one by one to share where we can improve in our speeches. Also, a new rule that we are adding from today onwards is that every evaluator will be considered for the best evaluator role. So you just don't have to vote for the best speech evaluator, but also the best evaluator out of the speech evaluators, the snafu counter, the grammatist, the general evaluator, timekeeper, all will be discussing their evaluations in 2 minutes. So we can actually celebrate all our evaluators who are sitting there and helping us out to improve. Thank you. So I'll start off with our first evaluator, Ashish Negi.
Good afternoon, everyone. So on earlier occasions, it has been Ashish versus Ashish, and this time it is Negi versus Negi. Okay. A few points about Deepak before I start on the evaluating points. Deepak, what I noticed, this was your second extempore, and I think that what I feel is you are quite comfortable thinking on your feet. But when you were delivering your first time icebreaker, I think you were more of learning, you crammed through the sentences, so that there were a lot of pauses in that. But it takes a lot of confidence to come up prepared and get to this audience, come front of the audience. But okay, now we'll come to the points. The strong points what you had into your speech was, the first thing was there was a lot of humor elements that were added, so where audience can feel connected. And when you were sharing your experience with the audience, you shared some of the anxiety that any individual as a child goes through that. So again, the audience can feel a connect to that, maybe in some other relative way, but obviously all the childs go through that anxiety. So that thing was shared, and that was quite connecting to the audience. As I earlier mentioned, it seemed like you have trying to speak up the same as word by word, so there was a pauses between the sentence that I felt. So there was a flow was not that maintained. Again, that opening was a bit shaky, and the conclusion part was strong. Again, because with your experience, you are sharing a message to the audience. What we as a parent feel or communicate to the child, he or she might not be thinking or feeling it the same way, because they have a totally different mindset of taking it, absorbing it, and they might take it in a totally different way around. So we need to be more communicative with our childrens. You had certain casual use of notes. The body language, while you were talking, I feel that you were not having total connect with the audience. You were practically concentrating on this side. The eye connection was not on this side, and you were a bit less audible at that moment. So that was all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashbhai. That was a quite detailed analysis. I think that will help Deepak a lot. I'll be calling Sandeep sir to evaluate Aryant. Thank you.
So good afternoon. I'm going to give my evaluation for Arihant, and his topic was the life of a seeker. And his speech was excellent, I will say. He was very very confident, very comfortable, and good voice modulation. Very good use of hand gestures, and very good body language. Overall, a very good speech. Eye contact was also good, and he shared interesting things about himself, his love for guitar. So speech was nicely prepared overall. Voice was very clear and audible, and speech was having nice structure, definite opening, body and closing. So looking at the fact that it was an icebreaker, so I was not able to find any improvement area, frankly speaking. So it was a very nice effort and a very nice speech. Thank you.
So all in all, a sum up is a very good speech, Aryant. Next, I'll be calling on Chirag Bhai to evaluate Sangram.
Like someone with Thank you so much.
Right. Okay. So my time starts now, right? Okay. Well, Sangram, it was Sangram's first speech in the Doyen Club Icebreaker was in general an excellent effort. Right. So I'll start with some commendations, a good part of the speech, and then at the end I'll give him some areas where he could have done better. Commendations first. The speech was, as I said before, was a very good speech. You did very well in acknowledging the audience and engaging them with your speech. So sorry. Alright. And the speech was high in energy. Your voice itself was highly energized voice, and it was having an impact on the audience, which is a very good thing. Your voice modulations were good, but decent. You're very audible. You did use pauses. However, you were filling pauses with multiple ends, A and D ends. Could have been avoided. You did not need any notes at all. The reason behind this because you had your speech very well prepared, and it was also because it was coming straight from your heart. It was your own experience. You had a personal story very finely integrated into your speech, and as a result, it was flawless. It was flawless, not flawless. Okay, and so the speech had a very definite opening, body, and close. Use of humor was very good. Your speech, when it began, it wasn't sounding logical, but the way you ended it, it made it sound logical. Composer, good. Confidence level, very good. So these were commendations. Now I'll talk about certain areas of improvement. Like I said before, your voice was filled with energy. Your body language wasn't complementing that. Okay, could have been a little better. This is something that we probably can think as part of giving speech. The podium is restricting use of flow space that we have been given. I mean, when we give speech, it's good to walk around, right? Okay, it has been 2 minutes, right? Wow. Okay, I'll still continue because certain points I thought it's good to convey. So we can allow people to walk around and not just stick to podium. Okay. You were talking a little faster, could have been a little slower. Composer, there was some stress when you started. In the beginning, there was some sign of stress on you, but when you progressed, you could ease yourself off, and it was good. Your dress, you are not following our standard Doyen Club dress format communicated to us, to evaluators. But we can rethink. We can probably, as a Doyen Club, can revisit our rule set for that. Okay, right. So overall, it was a very nice speech as an icebreaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chirag Bhai. When I say Chirag Bhai, I just want to add, I hope your driving skills are not like Salman Khan. That could be a problem. Otherwise, I think bhai, saying bhai to anybody is a good idea. I'll be calling on our last evaluator, who will be evaluating the organized speech section, which I think Gopal quite managed quite well. So Ashish, bhai.
Thank you. Thank you. I guess I need to smile while giving this evaluation for Gopal. I'll start with his topic was very well prepared. Keep calm and smile. It was very interesting topic, and he was well prepared. That is what I would say. He started good. His body was throughout the session. He maintained his body well. His voice was very clear. However, it was little faster. That's where he might have to control it a bit. He was using his notes, and he maintained that very well. He was while reading also he was maintaining the eye contact between the audience, which was very good, very good thing. He forgot in starting that mentioning time, but he maintained the situation very well, and his speech was not affected by that one. So that was again very good, good part. Again, as Chirag said, he was not again. He's another person who was not following the Doyen Club rule for wearing tie and the standard things. And the one point was he was having really good examples, so which was very well explained his topic. So overall, he has done really good speech. Thank you.
So next I'll be calling on our snafu counter Vedpal, so he can tell us what snafus we committed in the entire meeting.
Hello everyone. In today's meeting, Sangram is the one who has used the least number of snafus.
Sangram, thank you. Next is our grammatist Abhijit Bhai. He'll be telling us. Oh, you changed the rules. Okay, so Vikrant, thank you. You'll be explaining the grammatical problems we had in our meeting.
Right, good afternoon. Firstly, it was great to be a part of the audience. Some really fantastic speeches. Some progress made. I just turned the pages back and saw the last comments that I had made in the last meeting that I attended. There were about 13 points that I had made, and this time it's only about 8 or 9. So seems like an improvement for all of us, right? Already, or maybe it's a degradation on my part that I cannot catch more mistakes. Right. To start with, I would just give it in general. I made 2 points about in general speech that we had, talks that we had during this whole session. First was this word was very it was mentioned quite often, which was children. The plural. The word itself is a plural, children. It is not children's, right? So that was mentioned a couple of times. Also, the other thing which I learned myself some years back was when we usually speak and when we say this word did not or didn't, so it has a colloquial acceptance to it. So when we are making a speech, it is accepted well, but when we are writing a formal writing, there is when usually the seniors advise that we shouldn't be really using the apostrophe nd, and we should go ahead with did not when we are writing something. So just wanted to share, I just thought of it now, it came to my mind. Right, so starting with Deepak Negi, really good speech. Clearly you're the personal favorite of many when it comes to extempore. Right, you said my father had beaten me up. I would prefer saying my father beat me up. Right. Second instance, you said you start your sentence with a because. You said because I was eating laddus. I would prefer using, because usually they say that because a sentence shouldn't really be started with a because, so I would have started with as I was eating a laddu, so instead of because. Third instance was they do not know life outside their parents. Instead of outside, I would prefer using beyond, so they did not know life beyond their parents. Moving on to Arihant on life of Seeker, don't have anything to comment on. Really fantastic speech. Sangram, again a very good speech. only thing that I would want to comment on will be when you did your introduction, Sangram. You said I'm working in the oceaneering. I would prefer using. Firstly, I wouldn't like to use the as a prefix to oceaneering, because oceaneering being a proper noun doesn't need to have an article. So we could use, and I wouldn't like to say I am working in oceaneering, rather I would say I am working with oceaneering. So that's the only place I thought I could maybe help you with. Gopal, again a very good speech. Only 3 places I think I can maybe add to some suggestions. Firstly, you said I didn't knew. Again, could have been I didn't know. Right? That makes it 2 past tenses together. Second place, I've a feeling of angryism. Didn't really know the word angryism. I think feeling of anger would have been correct, right? Third thing, which is also quite often, the mistake is done by a lot of us, which is it costed him so much. Cost at the past tense of cost is cost. I think it is not costed, so it should have been it cost him so much. Just the 3 things. Everything else was really good. Enjoyed a lot. Thank you.
So next I'd like to call on our timekeeper to tell us who is eligible for the awards.
Very good afternoon to all of you. After having wonderful speeches, extempore session and evaluation from the speech evaluators, the final nominations basically is based upon the time allotted to each of the speaker and the time taken by each of them. So based upon time, the nominations for best prepared speeches are Deepak Negi for A Day from My Childhood, Aryan Sharma, A Life of a Seeker. So we got 2 nominations for prepared speeches. For extempore session, we got 3 nominations. First one goes to Mr. Mahinder, Every Person You Know Has Forgotten You. Second one, Paranjit Singh, Which Animal You Want to Be. The third one is Deepak Nebi, Choice to Change Rules of Your favorite game. For speech evaluators, we got 2 nominations, Ashish Negi, who has evaluated Deepak Negi, and Ashish Tandel, who has evaluated Gopal. So all these nominations this time are going to be online, so we suggest you to take down your names for the nominations, and a voting form will be sent to you and you can nominate each of your this thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. But you have once again, got us at the crossroad where it is again Ashish versus Ashish. So I'd like to call on our general evaluator to evaluate the meeting in general and tell us what we need to do to improve our meeting.
First off, I would start with I don't know why people say that it is very easy to evaluate somebody or point out mistakes. Just ask me how difficult this role is to evaluate the meeting. Speech evaluator might be knowing this. Okay, so some general points from this meeting. We will be having good speeches. All the speeches were having with humor, and there was some message for all the speeches, and we are having with good guest attendance to our club. That's a very good thing. And some areas where we can improve the meeting, with the meeting timings, everybody knows now we have just reduced the timings of the meeting to 1 hour, so meeting was late by just 5 minutes, and there was some role shuffling during the meeting, so we can prevent that. And some late arrivals for the guests, and we remember last time we said that there were some changes about the prize distributions, so that was not explained at the, you can say, start level. And again, the dress code, I really confess I'm not, today I'm also out of dress code, but
at least who are all the speakers, so who is coming to the podium, so they should have here the ties or dress code. Okay. So next for the MOC, so positive points, he just came back, so it was Ashwini, and he's with a different look, maybe it's because of his hairstyle, and roles were very well explained by Ashwini, and he made tempo throughout the meeting and added humor, and he's having very good, you can say, hosting skills, and nice transition during the sessions or speeches or extempore sessions. Some areas we can improve, like we have not explained the speech evaluators on the PPT sides, right? And you missed to explain the timing rules at the you can say start. And when Vikrant arrived late and you didn't explain that you are the damaged today, and because we have already shuffled the role, and even you missed to introduce the guests, right? Okay. So next, coming out about the, you can say, speech evaluators. So starting with Ashish Negi, like positive things, nice eye contact you have noted, and you started with the positive notes to your you can say orator, nice suggestions, and you talked about all over the structure of the speech and talked about the body language also. The only thing you can improve, like you missed to explain the, you can say, the use of voice, tone, pitches, speed of the and vocabulary used. Then again coming out Arihat, and was evaluated by Sandeep Nagbal. So positive things, nice eye contact during the evaluation, and started with positive notes, and you talked about everything: voice, body language, posture, gesture, eye contact, and you talked about overall speech structure. The only thing where we can improve, you can put some more suggestion to the orators, right? Then coming out to Sangram, who was evaluated by Chirag, and all the positive things like good concentration and eye contact, and you were taking continuously notes during the evaluations, and you started with positive notes, talked about voice, pitch, audibility, nice suggestion to orators, talked about structure of the speech, talked about confidence level, and even you put some, you can say, general points to the club, like how to use the podiums or this thing. Areas of improvement, I would say, like you already set a benchmark, so we all are learning from you. Yes, that's a very good thing. So coming out of the Gopal, evaluated by Ashish Tandel, positive thing, yes, good eye contact, talk about voice, pitch and all, talk about eye contact, suggestion, there was suggestion, yes. The only thing, yes, you missed to talk about the body language and posture and gestures. Theme host by Pradeep. The positive thing, very interesting theme for the today, right? And there were active participations by the members, and you added the humor to the session. The only thing where you can improve is, like, volunteer was called prior to explaining the theme, right? And next time, if you really guide the participant to the lectern, like some of the members were standing over there and thinking from there, like reading what is this topic for the today, right? So that's all from my side. Thanks a lot.
Again, an excellent evaluation by Sandeep to help us improve the club meetings. Before I distribute the awards, I'd like to reiterate some of the guidelines we mentioned in past meetings. We all need to have, mature and professional content in our speeches. We need to check for grammatical and sentence construction errors. There should be a lack, clarity of thought and a specific way in which you structure your speeches. You should move on maybe chronologically or based on certain idea how it flows. The flow, as everybody talked about, that should be there. Word should be selected effectively so that they convey what you really want to convey from your speech. And that is all. So I'll start off by giving the award for the best speech for the last meeting. I'll request everybody to one by one come up to the lectern and accept the awards. So the best speech for the last meeting was for Soumya Chakravarti. It's becoming a habit to collect all the awards.
I'll try to keep up with the habit. Thanks. Thank you.
So for the best extempore speech for the last meeting was for Arihant. Now the best evaluator. So the best evaluator for last meeting was Sandeep Dhiman. Thank you, Sandeep. The lowest R count for today's meeting is, as you all know, Sangram. Yeah, for today's meeting. Lowest R count is always for the present meeting. So this brings us to the conclusion of our meeting. I think it was a very successful meeting, and we'll be having successful meetings as we go on. Thank you. मैं वेट कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि सब लोग चले जाते हैं। हमारी है
Thank you, Sandeep ji.
साइन नहीं करना, ईमेल एड्रेस लिखना ना, प्रधान कर दे। वेरी इम्प्रूवमेंट आइडियाज कुछ लग रहा है किसी को, कुछ फीडबैक?
क्या? ग्रामर टेस्ट और उसको टाइम